fussing was done to get everything set up and the video quality to be fine and all that stuff. The new PC is more or less a streaming PC. So we should get good results out of it. I believe we are live. At least according to YouTube, we are live.
I got the notification, and there it goes. Hello, YouTube.
And you're going to see my fancy new innovation.
Hello.
As soon as it goes up.
Is that a little graphic?
Fine,
yep,
all that
I see.
stuff.
Oh wow. Wow. Made
There's
my day.
probably an easier way to do that, but I did it the hard way. So.
Yeah. Hello, Wargaming World. Hello. We're hosted here by Gary Ardwulf. I introduce you, Gary. And I am Patrick Mullen, his nemesis on these live plays, also known as Navarone Gun or the Navarone Gun on Twitter. And we're going to play you we're going to fumble through Thunder in the Ozarks for a little bit here as we get, used to it, figure it out.
Yep, that's the idea.
All right, so... Hello, everybody.
I do like how they number the elevation levels on the map. I think that's actually nice.
Yeah, it is nice. So are there numbers there?
Yeah.
Oh, 11. Yeah. They're kind of using they opted for period, and I like it. I think when there's this much terrain, though, it always gets me when there's a lot of terrain bleed. You know, you're getting out your magnifying glass and looking at it. I understand they're trying to be Civil War period pretty, but that's tough. But yeah, I do see the little written number. That's an 11 and that's a 10. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the counters are very clean.
Yes, I like the counters a lot. And yeah, are you scrolling around the map?
Okay. Well, let me zoom out a bit to show the entire map. I would imagine this is one map sheet in the physical game, which Patrick has ordered.
I own. It actually showed up quicker than anything I got from Amazon. Like I ordered it from Revolution before we decided to play, and I got it like 2 days later. I was kind of impressed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know they're shipping. Revolution Games is shipping during the COVID-19 crisis, folks, for reference. So
Ziploc. Only Ziploc for Thunder, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so I believe this is part of the Blind Swords system from Herman Lettman and developer Fred Manzo. So I have not tried this before, but it comes fairly highly recommended.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Looking through Thunder in the Ozarks, one of the things that impressed me as I went through it, it looks like this isn't like trying to have a series of games like with the core rules and somebody finds out that it works great in the in a given battle, and then hey, we've got to do like 100 changes. It felt, looking through the rules, it really felt like they've got a core way of doing business, and then everything else is just tailored to whatever situation or battle they're doing, which I liked. Kind of a ground up DNA sort of approach, which I'm a big fan of.
It's more a game family than a series, it seems to me, from what I've seen.
Yeah. Although I think you got a little more, if you're talking weaponry and say like the Franco-Prussian War or the Civil War total, and you're doing it at a certain scale. There's less systematic and chromy stuff you have to change than say if you were going from like North Africa to the Battle of the Bulge. It's warfare is a little less dynamic at this time. So all right, enough of us pontificating. Where's the SOP? What do we gotta? Well, we gotta set this thing up. Let's go to the scenario rules. Figure out what we gotta do.
Yet another. I didn't check this until just now. Yet another unbookmarked PDF file. That's okay, I'll do it myself. So which scenario are we doing?
Elkhorn Tavern.
Okay.
That's what you put on the the YouTube screen, so I assumed.
Okay, well, I didn't really think of it, but this is the Battle of Elkhorn Tavern. And we are literally fighting over Elkhorn Tavern.
Right. There's a P Ridge scenario, and there's an Elkhorn Tavern scenario. So
Okay,
that's
so
what,
this is scenario 2 then.
right. That's what the kid ran with. Was I was a literalist. So yeah, scenario 22.2, that Tempest of Death. Just the portion of battle that occurred on the east side of the Pea Ridge battlefield around Elkhorn Tavern, and uses that map only. The units are set up. They're placed using the setup instructions below. Cavalry units coded with M are deployed on their mounted side. Units coded BW start on their battle worn side, and units coded SO start on their skirmish. Great. All right. So everything we can audit the setup in a second, and
Yeah,
we've
I
got
like that they actually put that. I'll pull this to the screen here and show you. I like that they actually put these notes in the scenario, so I do not have to look them up independently.
right, right, exactly. So that's and we've got. It looks like, let's make sure the cavalry. That's going to be my check. Are they mounted? Yep.
All right, so it looks like we have two brigades. We have Weston's, the Union, has Weston's brigades and Dodge's brigade.
Yes, they might even be wing commanders, to be honest with you. They're just talking a little history here for a second, if I recall correct. Yeah, they're doing this weird. We have to set ourselves up like Napoleon did. So you've got, yeah, like Curtis's division, and then Carr's division, which has Dodge's brigade, and some artillery. And I've got Price's division, and that's it. So that's all that looks to me that was really involved up in the north. There other wing, I guess the other wings of the Confederate Army were fighting it out in the south. And it says, all right, so let's special scenario rules. It's 15 turns long, starts at 11:30, ends at 6:30. Carr and Price activation chits. Okay, so setting up the cup. So we should set up the cup, right? Come here, cup. Okay. They've already set up the stuff that belongs in the cup. So let me just audit it with the scenario. You take a look at the cup. Tell me if these things are in there, okay? So we have the Carr and Price division activation chits.
Okay. Yep.
Both. Now those could be the Fortunes of War and Fog of War chits.
I suppose they could.
Yes. The instructions don't reference those two specific chits in the setup. So those must be the wild chits. And the Curtis CIC chit.
Okay,
are in the cup.
Yeah.
Okay. And I begin with the Van Dorn Casualty CIC chit in the cup, which is used per the normal rules. At the start of the 3 p.m. turn, I replace that chit with the normal Van Dorn CIC chit for the remainder of the scenario.
Okay.
But if he does become a casualty during the normal course of play, that's the only one that's available. I don't get to swap it out. Okay. All event chits are available to us from the start of the game, except for you need to, let's go, maybe it's already removed. All right, let me make the chit cup bigger. Okay, they're already at the bottom. During the command decision of each turn in the scenario, we'll add their key chit plus 2 randomly drawn event chits to the cup. The remaining chits are excluded for the turn. Okay. All right. So now let's do some logistics. Where are the other chits?
Yeah, that's my question. I'm confused by this chit cup screen.
Sorry. So the 8 button refills the cup. All right.
Okay.
We don't want to hit any of those like remove. You know, we just want to be looking where we are. Event chits and the cup. Okay. And we got extra chits over. Okay. I'm just going to throw these down here so we can examine them.
Okay.
And then where are the event chits? They've got to be in here somehow.
Oh, I assume they are.
Right. So, all right, so let's go to the rules. And it says we need to pick a key chit.
Right.
And 2 randomly drawn chits to the cup. Okay. So, why don't you head over there? I'm going to... mask these for now.
Okay.
For grins, for no freaking reason. And let's walk through those chits and see what we add to the cup as our key, like our choices there for the key and the random.
Okay. So we should cover what they actually do, I think.
Right. So we're going to go to it's in the command phase description. Command decision phase, which makes me think it's like a phase about Frank Chadwick's miniatures title, Command Decision. So, all right. So we choose one. Okay, for key chit, you choose any one of your eligible event chits and place them into the cup. So these extra chits, what we see down there are what's available.
Mm-hmm.
Flip.
So we're talking the ones that we see on the bottom or on the right?
On the right. Those are the ones
Okay.
that are available for the scenarios.
Okay.
So I'm going to flip these, and I'm going to put these back in extra chits.
All right. So Rebels Whooped sounds fantastic.
What does it do?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out.
Chit descriptions. They've got to be at the bottom. I bet you they're in the bottom. Let me look at the contents. There's a chit draw phase. Okay. So let's look at the chit draw phase. Maybe that has it. That is in blah, 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 blah. That is in 10.0. Maybe that has a description of the chits. Yes, looks like it does. Okay. So, event chit. If it is drawn, you hand it to the owning player. He may look at it and play it immediately. Otherwise, he keeps chit in front of him face down so the opponent can't see it and saves it for later use or puts it on the player aid card. Then you draw new chit. So let's look at these chits. Wild chit. Its effect. All right. So we're getting into the land of they're describing them generally, how you generally use those chits.
Right.
So we need to go down to 10.5. Okay. The wild chits are fortunes of war. This means the next chit pulled is negated. When fortunes of war is pulled, discard it immediately. Then draw the next chit normally. If it's event, CIC, or fog of war, it's immediately discarded with no effect.
Right.
If it's a division activation, you must select an eligible brigade and mark it as activated without letting it do anything. They can't even do a limited activation. Okay, cool. Fog of war. When this is drawn, the non-chit pulling player rolls one die and consults the Fog of War table. Results are applied as on the player aid. Battlefield chaos. Okay, so something wacky happens. All right, I like that. All right, we'll figure out the wacky stuff when we roll it, right? All right. CIC chit 10.6. Each player gets one. Van Dorn and Curtis,
right,
which we've got, right?
Right.
Right. When a CIC chit is drawn, the owning player may select any one of his brigades in the game to activate it, even if it's already been activated.
Mm-hmm.
He may then hold the chit for use, later use, at the start of the chit draw phase. He may then conduct a full activation and conduct a normal brigade activation phase with that brigade. Okay. If the casualty version of it is drawn, so if I draw it, I'm a casualty until 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
After 3, it becomes real deal Van Dorn. Okay. The owning player rolls 1 die and compares it to the command rating shown on the chit. If it's less than or equal to, he may use it normally. If it's greater than the command rating, he must discard the chit with no effect. Okay. All right. So it does not look like we have the wing CIC chits, which are Siegel, because he's not here on this part of the battlefield, or probably McCulloch or something. All right. Yep. Division activation chit. Every division in the game has a corresponding activation chit.
Mm-hmm.
Every infantry and cavalry unit on the map. All right. So if you get the chit, all right. When the first unit of a reinforcing division, one which is not in the game, enters the game, the owner player will. Okay, they're just saying you place that relevant chit in the card.
Right, cool. When it comes on the map.
Right, but that doesn't seem to apply here. Okay, well, it might with some of your reinforcements. So, when the chit is drawn, you immediately roll 1 die before selecting a brigade, and you either get a full or you get a limited activation.
Right.
All right, cool. When a chit needs to be discarded, chit needs to be simply find a spot on the table near the draw cup to place it. All right, so that's cool. And then that's it for the chits. And so what are key chits? We get to pick a key chit. So we familiarize ourselves with the chits. But for setup, event chits. So which of those are the event chits? Just went through them, but it didn't say, hey, these are the event chits.
Is there like a reference card in the physical copy of the game that tells you what all the chits do?
I'm gonna look here first. Event. Yeah, there's an event thing in the pop-up screen. Yep.
Okay.
It looks like these be them.
Okay. All right. So here's what this Rebel's Whoop does. You hold this chit and play it at the start of any Confederate orders step this turn. After the brigade order is announced, you immediately roll 1 die for stragglers on a 1, 2, or 3. The Confederate player must flip any one FR unit in the active brigade to its BW side. 1-step units are BW and not affected by straggling. So what does FR and BW stand for?
Fire rating. Battle worn.
Okay. Then roll another die, and the result is a new movement allowance of the chits in the active brigade. Okay, so
all right, so you only get.
Let's pull that cup back up.
1 Rebels whooped.
Yes.
So the way this works is we go through these event chits. See? Mm-hmm. See? You hear me? See? And we get to choose 1 key chit, and then like one that we're gonna play.
Right.
And then we get to pick. Let me find the scenario again. .2.2. During the command decision phase of each turn in this scenario, so each turn, we get to add a key chit, which is any one of those events, right? Plus 2 randomly drawn event chits from our list into the cup. So that kind of explains it. So let's look at those. I would familiarize yourself with those events because you get to pick one. question is, where are they held in the scenario? Oh, they walk you through it. Look at the module.
Yeah.
So event chits are in the cup, right? And then I right click to choose my key chit.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm right clicking. Oh, I right click inside the thing.
Inside the what?
All right, let me pull this out. So rally was the one, which I don't want. I'm going to remove the chit. No way to delete it or anything. I wonder if it was what event I was clicked on.
So where did those come from?
These come from, okay. So look, when I right click to choose the key chit, all these chits became available in the freaking cup.
Right click on what?
I just right clicked inside the window. And all these chits made themselves available. So these are yours.
All right. No, right clicking inside that window does nothing for me at all.
Right, because I already did it.
Okay.
Right. I was just messing around and it said right click to choose key chit, right? And all of a sudden all these chits showed up in the cup.
Okay.
Which is cool. Right. And they were all blind to that cup to the right. All right.
Okay.
So what we got to do is we each get to choose one of these, and you need to get rid of. You only get one rebel whooped. So I don't want to cheat you. So let me double check on that. All right. So it looks like there are normally 2 rebels whooped, right?
Right.
So one of these you don't get to use. All right.
All right. I was just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
All right.
So we start first. I need to choose a key chit.
Whoops! This is a family show.
It's a family wargaming live stream. So
I have decided which chit I'm going to use.
All right. So let's do this. So I gotta remove. So what I'm gonna do is. So the options when I click on them are, so you avert your eyes or close the window or something.
Okay.
And if you want to mute it, because I'll tell the people out there what I'm picking,
I'll take my headphones off for 10 seconds.
Yes. I'm going to be picking Rebel Yell as my key chit. And he's counted to 10. So, come back, Gary, come back. And then I'm going to flip all these.
All right, I'm back.
All right. So I've masked these, and I'm going to play 3-card Monty with them.
Now, did you right-click on one and put it in the cup?
Yes. And I told the peoples in this, I'm sure it's riveting entertainment, what my chit is going to be. Boop, 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 boop. Probably you're distracting them, and I'll take my headphones off when you tell the people what yours are going to be. And having 3-card Monty these enough, I'm now going to pick somebody at random. I got to get 2 in there. So here we go. Number 1 and number 2. And then these, now that they're masked, I'm going to... There's an option for each of these which say remove chit and place an extra, which I'm going to do with the extras.
With all the extras?
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's yeah.
All right. Very good.
And we'll see. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're just all our stuff is just stacked up in there as like bizarroness. And that appears to be us picking the random events. All right, so we're done with that. And now you got to place Car and Price, both wild, and the courtesy IC Chit. They should be in there.
Okay. Those are the ones that are up here on the
Yep.
chart already.
They're already in there.
What about that Confederate replacement Chit? Or is that's Van Dorn actually?
Yes, that's a Van Dorn casualty.
Okay.
And so it looks like those things at the bottom are just kind of removed. Those are that's the that is the rebels what shit they pulled out and the Price replace all this stuff that was like to the south.
Okay, that makes sense. So we're just gonna then put all these in the cup.
Right. So Fortunes of War, return to Chit Cup, Fog of War, return to Chit Cup, move to Chit Cup, move to Chit Cup, move to Chit Cup, move to Chit Cup. Takes a little figuring out, but this is actually a pretty good vassal mechanism. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it seems sophisticated. With physical chits, I think this would be less confusing.
Of course, but they gotta, trying to get the effect off on Java and pulling it off like this. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we did the Chit thingy, and all right.
And then, so I have the sequence of play up.
Yep.
Once we have done, I think that's the end of
and this is how we win. I have to have 8 more VP than you at the end of the game.
Okay.
Less of that, you win. All right, cool. Sequence of play.
Okay, I have it up. So that was the command decision phase.
Right.
Which means that next is the artillery phase.
Okay.
And we have the Union artillery step first.
Yep. You move or fire.
All right, so let's...
I hear you're sniffling. You don't have COVID, do you?
I am. It's allergies is what it is.
All right. I'm just checking.
All right. So, I think I have... Let's pull up the TEC. Hopefully it says which things block line of sight. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. Nothing really blocks line of sight except for presumably elevation and heavy woods. So I'm having some rendering issues on my side for some reason. Let me minimize and maximize the window.
Rendering? You're trying to turn
the
animal products into fat? Okay, all right.
The screen is, the vassal screen is, like parts of it are vanishing. All right, so what is artillery's range? It's 150 yards per hex.
Yep, so I would look at the unit description. Light artillery. So it's an S. So the key, I would pull up the key. Let's look at the key. So we've got weapon type.
Ooh, look at this. This is fancy.
What? Oh, is there an artillery range? Clicker thingamajigger?
No. Just talking, the key includes not only the terrain key, but the unit key is as well.
Yes, I think that's, yeah.
So, so the big number on the left is strength points. The big number on the right is the cohesion rating. And then there's a reverse battle-worn side. Weapon type, that arrow pointing to weapon type seems to me to actually be supposed to be pointed at the little black S symbol, I think. So with that in mind...
Yeah, that looks correct. It looks like your artillery has a little yellow circle on it.
Yes.
So as we go way up, I'll go into the rules up to unit types. Boobadoo-badoo-badoo. So S, and that's, so they do have smoothbores if, represents an infantry and artillery unit armed with smoothbore muskets or cannons. RF represents an infantry unit with rifled muskets. MX means mixed. RS indicates a balanced mix of rifled and smoothbore muskets. JR represents artillery units with a James rifle cannon. C represents cavalry units armed with carbines. CC is like shotgun, pistol, swords equivalent. Okay. So let's look up artillery.
I may be muting the microphone here so I do not sneeze into it. Give me just a moment.
You're so kind to everyone. Let's look at maybe it's on the CRT. Yep, there it is. That will make Gary happy. Thanks, Jerry Woodfield. Yeah, there's a pretty good, I can't show everybody, but there's actually a complete summary of all the weapon type stuff you'd want to know in the module. Half of it's starting off these games figuring out what the module has or what the module doesn't. Oh, I see a civil war about California's breaking out in our chat. Come on, don't shoot, guys. I actually love California. I lived there one time in my life for 2 years. The Army sent me to Arabic school, and I lived in Monterey, California on the government's dime at a sergeant's pay, and I really enjoyed it. Having said that, I would never want to live there on my own dime, given how much it costs and everything else that goes on there. But it was nice. It's a wonderful environment, wonderful place.
There is an upside to California cost of living. That is the cost of liquor.
Yes.
Which is notably lower than it is certainly in Ohio.
When I first went to California, I lived many places. And, when I went in the Army, I'd done other things in my life and lived other places. But California blew me away because it was the first state I ever went to where they actually sold liquor in the grocery store. Now Florida's changed and does that, but it kind of blew me away. I was like, wow, I could buy whiskey at Safeway. It's pretty awesome. So, all right. So if you look, Gary, at the CRT, there are two options. Column shifts and weapon ranges, and there is your smoothbore cannon.
Okay, cool. All right, so what we have then is Jones, looks like Jones battery, one of two Jones batteries. This is actually 1st Louisiana Light Artillery A and B is what it looks like. All right, so, and those are smoothbores. So their effective range is 1 hex. All right. That's interesting. And then the other one is probably smoothbores as well. It is Bowen's battery here is smoothbores. Okay, so let's circle back to this. There are smoothbore rifles. So the first looks like 6 columns here are for infantry and or cavalry, and the bottom ones are for artillery, I believe. Those ranges make a lot more sense. So effective range then becomes 5 on those smoothbore cannons. So in that case, since light woods does not block line of sight, there's a 1st Missouri Little's Regiment that I think I am going to light up with Jones's battery.
Okay.
All right, so the target is in heavy woods. So that's worth 2 columns to the left. There's another column to the left for firing through light woods. It is 4 hexes away, so it's in effective range.
Okay.
Flanking fire, we presume no.
Who are you shooting at again?
1st Missouri.
1st Missouri.
That's part of Little's brigade.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look flanking to me. Looks kind of straight ahead.
Yeah. Defenders on higher side of slope. So that isn't the case.
And you're shooting with... Are you shooting with Jones here? Like, which Jones?
A. Because B can't see that guy.
I wonder, you gotta have line of sight there, right? So you're at... Did you already do that part?
So,
did I miss that?
Let's actually... I'm not 100% sure that I do. I'm looking at the map again. Hide the units. All right,
you're at 7. Cool.
Yes, that's correct. But what elevation are you at? I believe you are lower than I am.
Where's this freaking hide units? But let me find.
It's the one with the Jack Kirby looking art on it.
Yeah, it looks like Jack Kirby drew Panther Man. All right, so maybe. All right, so let me see here. Somebody made a very unique choice. All right,
yeah. So you're at level 4, I believe.
Yeah, I want to say that the intervening terrain is not going to... My question is about that light green stuff that's just under you. So what level's that?
That's level 7.
Dude, yeah, you can shoot at me. Yeah. You're so... You know what I mean? It's...
Well, it is 4 levels up.
Yep.
So that makes sense to me. All right, so I believe we were at 3 columns left. And I don't know that I see anything else. So let's look at the CRT. So we're firing with 4 strength points. So this would be on a 1. And it looks like we're rolling a D66 here. So that's actually kind of an assy shot. 50% chance of nothing. Well, we'll roll it and see what happens. All right, so let's get rid of that. We have rolled a 61. Okay, which is pretty close to as good as I was going to get. So what we got here is a yellow 0. Where does it tell me what that means?
So, the CRT?
Yes.
You had 4 strength points?
Yes, and it's down 3, so it goes down to the 1 column.
Right. So we're in the 1 column.
Mm-hmm. And I rolled a 61.
A 61. That is
well, it's either a yellow 0 or a green 1 to 3.
Right. So let's check that out. We're going to have to find the interpretation of such. So
I think what that is telling us is that we roll on this fire combat cohesion test table.
Fire column cohesion.
It's under test, the test button.
The test button. All right, let me look at that. Well, there you go. So it's yellow.
Mm-hmm. Well, is it yellow or is it green? Because there's 2 results there.
And then there's a modifier. Right. So we figured that out. It's going to be yellow or it's going to be green, right?
Right.
And then there's going to be a modifier depending on that result, right? So let me go back to the CRT. So now there's a tab called Combat Results. So we got 0, and we've got 1 through 3 as the options. Okay, that's cool. Let's look at the Combat Results Explained portion that's next to the test.
Yeah, that's the result of the on this cohesion test table, I think.
Right. Fire, cohesion, and break. Combat results explained. All right. So back to the CRT. No explanation there. So we will look at... We are going to have to look at the rules. Let's look. That's what they're there for. Fire combat.
Which is 12.0.
Correct. I'm scrolling. Ranges. Multiple firing units. Test eligibility in the lead unit. When conducting fire... All right. Yeah, obviously, the guy you're shooting at, the one guy there is the lead unit. All right.
Uh-huh.
Procedure. You declare. You consult the shifts and all that stuff. Then you roll. Okay. The column shift. All right. Those are all the column shifts. Great. All right. So you do all the column shifts and all that stuff, and then you resolve it. And then you roll. And then you look at find the row. Okay.
Right. When the final adjusted SP column is determined, which we found out, it's column 1. The active player rolls 2 dice, read the colored die first, blah, 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 blah. The player then looks down the SP column to find the row containing the rolled number and checks the result contained in the box. If the result is only a dash, the fire has had no effect, and this fire combat resolution is over. If the result includes at least one colored box, then the lead unit and the targeted hex may take a cohesion test. Check the modified cohesion rating of the lead unit in the targeted hex. If the number range of a colored box in the combat result includes the lead unit's modified CR. Okay, so what is his CR?
My
3.
CR, yes.
Okay. Okay. So I think that green 1 to 3. If the numbered range in a colored box in the combat result includes the lead unit's modified CR, then the unit is subject to a fire combat cohesion test. So I think we're applying the green result because your number is a 3 and it's in the 1 to 3 range. The color of the corresponding box dictates which cohesion test is required. Red is severe, yellow is tough, and green is routine. If it's not included in a colored box, the result is treated as no effect. Okay. So then we go to the cohesion test procedures, which is 15.
What you're saying sounds perfectly reasonable to me. So since I have a 3, I would have had a green result on a 1 to 2, a yellow result on if my cohesion, my rating was a 1 to 2, a yellow if it was 0, and no effect otherwise. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Got it. So now we go to where?
15.0.
No, I'm with you. So 15.
Which is the cohesion tests. Okay.
Cohesion tests.
So I think we're rolling in the green section. Okay. And you're rolling a D66.
A D66 in the green section. So we go to test. It is a fire cohesion test and break test. Mm-hmm. And I am rolling the colored 2D6s. Here we go.
Right. 53.
I rolled a 53. I am in...
Okay, so that's an R1.
Well, my question is, did I even have to roll? Because my number wasn't on there.
What do you mean?
So, do you always do a cohesion test?
No,
or is the
not necessarily. So your unit cohesion, and we assume there's no modifiers at this time, is a 3.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So I rolled a 61, right? Which gives us 2 results. There's a yellow 0.
Right.
So if your modified cohesion rating is in that range, so 0, then you roll a yellow result. If your modified cohesion rating is in the green range, then you roll a green result. So we're rolling for a green result here.
But I'm a 3.
Right, which is in the 1 to 3 range.
Oh, was I looking at the wrong... I could have been looking... You were on a 1 and you rolled a 61, right? Yep. Gotcha. So I'm rolling in the green. All right, I'm with you. With you. I rolled a 53.
Right. So
my depletion result is D.
Yes.
and my 3 is R1.
Okay, so now we go to that Combat Results Explained tab.
Right.
The D. The lead unit on its FR fresh side is flipped over to its battle-worn side.
That is easily accomplished. Okay.
And then the lead unit on the battle-worn side, the way I'm reading that is, if the lead unit was already on its battle-worn side, then it would take a break test. I don't believe that happens here.
Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
And then you got an R1 skedaddle result, so what's that? The lead unit retreats that number of hexes.
Okay, so I fall back 1 hex. So
Yep.
all right. Boom. That's the result.
Okay. So first combat. So that totally works. All right. So let's see what else we're doing.
What's the scale per hex again, Gary?
150 yards.
Yeah, very tactical, but I like.
And it's regimental level, so.
Yeah. I'm with it. Down with it. So now you have your next artillery piece.
Yeah, so, well, there's 2 more artillery pieces. They can move or fire. However, what is the stacking limit? Let me check that.
I seem to recall it's 2 units, but
Maximum
there's some
number
larger units. Yeah.
Determined by the combat unit's total unmodified strength points.
7, correct?
Okay.
Is that the magic number?
8. It's 8.
8.
Okay.
But if you have a unit that's more than that, it can, of course, be stacked by itself. Yes.
Right. All right. Yeah,
Rogue.
So I'm super snotty today. I'm hoping this will go away. If not, I may have to excuse myself for a moment. All right, so Jones, I think, does have a shot from where he is, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, he absolutely does not. That's all heavy woods there. So there's no way he does.
And he's at an 8. Yeah.
He's at an 8.
Elevation.
I believe that's correct.
And he's shooting over a 6. And
I think I'm trying to find a better place to put him. And what is his movement rate?
So, this being the civil, the war between the states, I would assume that you have to limber or unlimber or something.
Very plausibly.
I'm going to run that out there. I'm going to run that up the flagpole.
All right. Movement is 13.0, so let's look at that. I think you're probably right. I didn't catch... I did catch it, but I don't remember it. What the... how long a turn represents. All right. So a lot of this terrain, if you look at the TEC, is prohibited to artillery. Well, no, not really. But the elevations are, and this is a very hilly country. So... Cavalry and artillery units must move along a connected road to enter or relieve a heavy woods hex. That's fine. All right, the distance an artillery unit can move is either 6 movement points for Confederate units and 8 movement points for Union units. That's for artillery. And then cavalry distance or infantry is predicated on the order that was issued for the brigade during the preceding order step, which we're not at yet.
Right.
So we want to move Jones B. To where is the question? I don't believe... No, I probably can, actually. All right, so Jones is going to move along a road. And they're not really marching, so it's pretty much terrain for him.
Okay.
So he is going to go... He is 1.5. Okay, so that's 1 or a half? or one and a half under lanes, main road, artillery on the TEC for movement for artillery.
I'm looking. Okay. That's 1.5. It's not 1 or a half.
What's the slash in the middle for then?
That's just how they wrote it. It is no way. I mean, did you find any limbering rules?
Not seeing that yet.
All right, I would look at that first. Then it will all.
I don't see that.
Okay, so it's got to be 1.5. It's not like lanes / main road.
Okay. So in that case, let's look at the key. So the tiny roads are lanes, and 2.5. All right, what's this? Is this like literally a picket friggin' fence? Because that's what it looks like.
Yes, there are fences in the game.
Or is that just decorative? Because if you look at the key, I don't see that on the key. I see slopes and steep slopes.
I see nothing that has any game effect involving fence work.
Okay. All right, so he was 2.5 there. He's going to go 3 into that clear hex. And then,
that may affect combat. I'm going to look that up while you're doing it.
It might, but he's not shooting right now anyway, so it's all good. And then he's going to go up one slope. All right, so this was 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5. So this would be into... That's heavy woods. He can't go up there.
Nope. Well, you could go stack with other Jones.
I could.
I mean, if what you're trying to do is get up there and get an angles on me, that's the place to go. Sounds like a Monty Python sketch. Other Jones.
Yeah. And there's no trail or anything leading up that Elkhorn mountain, so I guess we're stopping there. I think what we'll do is we'll leave him here. Let's use undo for that. We'll leave him there. All right.
I bet those same people eat ice cream and drink milkshakes. Somebody's been talking about mucus in the chat. And
that's
milk.
the end of that.
All right. Any more artillery?
Yeah. Bowen's battery. Positioning's not great here, though. I mean, it's because it's up in elevation and because it's heavy woods. I really can't get anybody on that mountain. And I think Bowen does not have an effective shot. We will move Bowen, so he's going to get to move 8. So he's going to go 1, 2.
All right.
I'll have to be satisfied with that.
You will have to be satisfied.
All right, so that is the Union artillery step.
So now we go to my artillery step. Over fire. Well,
now you are kind of going uphill here for the most part, so
we're not going to be firing at anybody based on the elevate. We're moving along a road. That's what I'm seeing. So let me see here. People think we're kidding. I'm like, no, the button that removes the units looks like Jack Kirby.
Yes, I think so.
It's comic book art, like it's a superhero head looking away from you.
There was a point at which war comics were a relatively common thing, actually, and probably was some Civil War comics. And probably
Wow.
Jack Kirby drew some of them at one point.
That's what that might be. Yeah, it's a Union soldier looking away. All right. They could have used, what was it? The haunted tank.
Yeah.
They could have used that. Jeb Stewart haunting a Stewart. Okay. There's some comic book knowledge getting dropped. All right, so movement on a road. A movement on a road.
All right. So
So
while you're figuring that out, go ahead and
yeah,
verbalize your way through it. I'm gonna go take care of my nose. I'll be back in a moment.
yeah, you go do that. So this absolutely looks like a lane to me. These guys here, audience, if you can see him moving around. I don't know if he has it showing up in the chat. Yeah, he does. All right. So I look up lane. And lane on the TEC tells me for artillery, it is 1. And this guy, I believe it's the movement of 6. When Gary gets back, he'll correct me if I'm wrong. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've got to go up an elevation to move up there. So let's look at the terrain effects chart for that. And it tells me that upslope is +2. So it tells me I cannot get up there. So everybody else is going to keep moving along this road. And I'll ask your area for overstack later. So that's great. That lane I should. And these guys are on a road. And I bet there's rules as I look at it for artillery and infantry in difficult terrain moving together. That's usually a problem. So I'm going to go to movement. Which is 13. Nope, no rules for it. They can be there together. That's fine. And yep, I have 6 movement points for Confederates. I was correct. So he can move there just fine. We can only have 7 strength points. So I can't really move these guys where I want to because they're blocked by Little's Missouri unit there. So we're going to go here. 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 So we creep along this road. And yeah, very Civil War. Stuck along the road, stuck behind the other guys. So cool. And down here. Yeah, that's one question I got to ask Gary. Yeah, somebody commented that the P-Rid left the building for me. I really don't do Stalingrad anymore, for instance, and I certainly don't Gettysburg it. Battles in the West or in the Trans-Mississippi are like my catnip. I'll go right to it because everybody's trodden the same ground either through, because they're interested in the same designs or they're, sometimes just upgrading or quote unquote reimagining older games. I really like it when somebody digs into a title that's, hasn't been done a whole lot. And so P. Ridge, good choice. So Gary's a little bit the same way. So anything like that, we're like, hey, we're modeling the West of Trans-Mississippi. It's golden. Let's see. Wow, he is still salining or something. So I've done my artillery movement, guys, or I would be moving a lot more. So what's going on? I had let's see what the chat figures. You guys are just chatting. Cool. I've eaten possum, I've eaten squirrel. I've only shot a squirrel once. So it was, my old man was teaching me how to hunt and shoot and do stuff like that. I shot a squirrel once, and that was it. I was like, it's a little animal. What do I want to shoot it for?
All right, I mostly got it. Sir.
So I finished my artillery movement, which was not much. We're kind of bunched up on roads trying to get at you. I have one question for you. Was there some special exception for artillery stacking higher than 8?
Not that I saw. Let me check that.
Okay.
Oh, actually, yeah. Each SP of artillery counts as 0.75 SP for stacking. So 4 guns may stack for 3 stacking points, 8 for 6 stacking points. So yes, actually.
That's a fiddly mosquito that's going to bite us later. Having said that, I asked the question because if you get the artillery unit that says Clark and hover on it, Wade was with him, so it started off with 10 and a hex, which is indeed within this 3/4 limit. But I was like, there has to be an exception, or they wouldn't have just stacked them there. All right, so I'm done with my arty movement, man.
Okay.
And you know what? We were supposed to alternate A and B until it's done, but you know what? It doesn't matter because I didn't have a lot of choices, and you didn't have a lot of choices.
Not really.
Sad face. We should probably read in advance in the sequence of play before we start doing stuff. So we go now to the chit draw phase.
Okay.
Neither one of us have any held events.
Correct.
We draw a chit and proceed as follows. Event chit, owning player keeps it, draw new chit. Okay. So the question I have here is, if you keep it, it shouldn't be revealed.
Well, that's true. Saying? So the question then becomes, if we pull it and we flip it, well, actually, that's a good point. How do you know? I mean, if you're just asking the chits, is the module taking care of that or what?
Well, we'll pull the first one. And,
we'll find out.
This is all for fun. So here we go. We'll pull the first chit. It is...
So I do see what it is. It's Confederate Command Fusion.
Right.
So wait a minute. Was that 2 of them?
No, we're supposed to pull 1. That's what it says to do.
Yeah.
You're flipping it over and looking at it, and I just hit it.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
So what's the side I'm supposed to see?
So I don't think, frankly,
because I see one side says Van Dorn's Recovery, which sounds like a real thing, and the other side says Confederate Command Confusion, which is a real
chit,
thing.
Because we know Van Dorn's Recovery is not a chit that is being played in this game.
Okay.
Right? You understand me? So, yeah, we looked at all those events in the descriptions that we had.
Why does the chit say that then?
Because because they have a different side, and there are other scenarios that have like Van Dorn's Recovery in them.
Okay.
Like if you take a look at My God, It's Poor Ben, the Battle at Leetown. Or I think it's the Grand P Ridge. Van Dorn was sick.
Yes.
When the battle began.
That's
right?
correct.
But he's not sick now. Right? So it's all about, like, I'm being very... With this game and the rules, what you have to do is say, what chits did they tell me to put in there?
Right.
All right? So not like, but there's Van Dorn's. They told me to put this in the cup. You know what I mean? And that's what you get every turn.
So right. What we are saying then, that all the chits have 2 sides, And
Right.
you are going to be asked to put one specific side in the cup
Right.
for that scenario.
But it looks to me, because I mask this, right?
Right.
There's no way to tell
Right.
to keep that hidden that I can tell because
Okay.
there's no option. So all I can do is place the chit in my hand.
Okay.
Okay. So, which I'm doing, I'm holding it. I'm not playing it.
Okay.
So now you may draw the next chit.
All right.
I think that's how we do this. Let's
Okay,
double
so
check.
that's Fog of War. Which maybe I wasn't
Right.
supposed to tell you, but we're going to have to look that up.
No, you were supposed to tell me.
Okay.
So event chit. If a wild chit, you resolve it immediately.
Okay. When the Fog of War chit is drawn, the non-chit pulling player, that's you, rolls one die and consults the Fog of War table on his player aid.
Are we supposed to be alternating playing the chits, by the way?
It's a good question.
I would guess so. Since they're doing things by...
Oh, it's suggested that the Confederate player draw the chits on odd game turns and the Union player draw the chits on even game turns.
All right. So let's alternate there, and then I'll keep drawing for the rest of the first. That does that sound fair?
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So Fog of War, what do we do?
All right, so the non-chit pulling player rolls a die and consults the Fog of War table on the player aid. So wherever that's at.
1d6.
I don't know yet. I'm trying to find the table.
Yeah, it's way. It's in 10. I think it's 10-6.
Yeah, but it says it's on the player aid, so... It's 10-5, but...
Chain on any player aid I can see here. Nope. So whatevs. So we look in the rule.
There it is. It's on the it's on the TEC card. So it is a D6 roll.
Okay, so I figured. Here we go. A 2.
Rebel Battlefield Chaos.
Okay.
The opposing player selects, to the affected side, selects any one enemy hex and places the Fog of War chit directly onto that hex. These units may not move, withdraw, advance, or initiate close combat for the remainder of the turn. They may only issue fire combat and retreat normally. All right, so let's see where
you do
we're
your
going
worst.
There you go. There's your Fog of War.
Okay.
It's on the stack of Frost's Frost and some kind of mixed Missouri unit.
Okay, so I will continue to pull the rest of the chits.
Okay.
Firefight.
Okay.
I believe that's an event.
It is an event. Let me double check that event. But I believe I'm going to hold that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to hold that. Next.
Okay, I will pull the next chit. Van Dorn Casualty. So I have to do a die roll. Let me look at 10. We're not getting any activations. We're just getting all these events. Boom, boom, boom. Starting off. So it's under 10. Okay, so I roll a die and compare it to the command rating. If equal to or less than, I may use it as a normal CIC Chit. If the roll is greater than the command rating, I must discard it for the turn with no effect. Ready? Here we go.
So,
Discard with no effect.
okay.
Right. So, I'm going to put the discards.
Okay. All right, so what that's telling us is that there's some chance that Van Dorn is going to get sick again from falling in that river. And is going to be out of commission for some period. Potentially.
Right. That's it. Right. So now we go to...
Next check.
Right. And I will pull it. My God, it's full of events. All right, so Rebel Yell. I am going to place that in my hand.
In my hand.
Rebels whooped.
Rebels whooped. Place all unit infantry units in one hex to immediately issue fire. No, can't really use that yet. All right.
Car.
All right. So now there's a scenario thing here, so let's check that real quick because. Okay, so that's just car, not Weston. Weston is activated with Curtis. All right. So we roll a d6, and if it is that command number or lower, we get a full activation. Otherwise, we get a limited activation. I might not be getting the... And we've shut the bed. So let's see what that limited activation turns into. All right, selects an eligible brigade and flips its brigade activation status marker. So this is car. This means that units in the brigade may only conduct a normal fire combat step.
All right.
All right.
Now that you were doing that, I need to use the restroom, and I need to, I'll tell the world, feed the cat.
Okay.
That should be done, and I shall be back in like 5, 10-ish, something like that.
All right, so let's pull the... This is 10.8. So we activate. We only conduct a limited activation. Okay. This means that units in the brigade may only conduct a normal fire combat step. When a brigade is selected to be activated either by division, blah, 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 it must proceed through each step of the brigade activation phase. The first step is the orders step. All right, so the 4 orders are attack, defend, maneuver, and regroup. So this is saying it can only conduct a normal fire combat step. Does that mean that it can only attack? Because that's kind of the way I'm interpreting that. All right, so let's look at the sequence of play, actually. So we issue orders, we have a fire combat, we have a movement. All right, so that says to me that basically they can do nothing because they don't have any shots. They don't have shots for anything. If we look at the sequence of play, so these are the various steps. There's the orders step, there's the fire combat step, there's the movement step, the close combat step, and the rally step. Okay. Let's go back to limited activation. This means that units in the brigade may only conduct a normal fire combat step. No other activities can be conducted in this phase. All right, so in that case, quite certain that there are no shots. So looking at, oh, that's okay. Let's look at the order battle for this scenario. Yep, it's just Dodge's brigade from Carr's division, so that's all that's there. So I think we're done. All right, so I'm going to pull the next chit here. That's going to be the Confederate Tactics chit, so we'll need to wait for Patrick on that. Let me... So he's just done. The module has a lot of functionality, I think, but, you know, all these vassal modules are different, right? They're all different and designed by different people. Some of them are really capable, and some of them are less capable. Some of them are just pieces in a map, and others have a lot of built-in functionality. This has quite a bit of built-in functionality, but because they're all different, you never really know before you start playing with it exactly how capable the vassal module for the thing you're playing is going to be, or how it's going to use any of those tools. So, let me check fire combat step real quick. I doubt there's an option to move during that step. Absolutely not. That's what I figured. That's some old school mine labor right there, working in the lead mine. If you're ever curious about whether your job could be worse, whatever it is, you could be working in a lead mine. So, let's move this guy back over. So I don't know if we caught this at the beginning of the stream or not when Patrick and I were talking about it, but I bought a new computer. It is considerably more capable than the old computer. It is not 100% everything migrated over yet, but quite a bit of it is. I have not yet wiped the old PC. So I think all my stuff is moved over, all the bulk files and stuff like that. But there's still probably some applications that I will need to install. It's got a Ryzen processor. Those processors are very good for streaming. I actually did a real quick stream last night on Twitch of video game stream, just to kind of see how it worked. And it worked fine. Nobody watched it, but I mean, it worked fine. So.
I have returned. Were you talking about Tabletop Simulator, maybe, or?
I'm talking about streaming. I streamed on Twitch last night. Just to see if it would work and to play with some more of the functionality in OBS that I haven't played with previously, which I think you can all see some of the fruits of that experimentation in the stream today.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the limited activation. All right. So when you activate stuff, you go through these stages, okay? Issue orders, fire combat, movement, close combat, and rally.
Okay.
With a limited activation, as far as I could tell, you only execute the fire combat stage. So these guys not being in fire range of anybody, that is essentially worthless, and they are just done. So I took the liberty of drawing the next chit, which is the tactics chit.
Oh,
So
Confederate
you can
tech.
decide what you're going to do with that.
Well, I'm going to hold it. So let me place the chit in my hand. Over to the next chit drop. Price.
Price. Price is the green guys.
Yeah, somebody gets to move and do stuff. All right. So now, how do I know if it's a full or a limited activation?
You roll a d6 and you're trying to roll that number or less. The number that's on the chit, so it's 3 for price.
All right, here we go. I rolled a 4.
Okay. So you also have a limited activation, which means
and
that
we are not in
you
range.
can shoot stuff if you want. You are, actually. What is this guy?
Weston. I can shoot at
Weston
Weston.
skirmishers. You could shoot at them. What do you got here? RS. What is RS?
That is a mixture of stuff. So that is... Rifled and smoothbore.
So they're long range, so they'd be at 50%.
But it seems to me that the terrain is blocking me from being able to see from black.
So we're on the same elevation level, and you're shooting over... We are on the same elevation level, right? I believe we are.
We are.
And you're shooting over light woods, which does not block.
Okay. That's just light woods. That's not that green stuff we're seeing is not a higher elevation level?
No. And so... But what you see... No, it's a lower elevation level.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. So I think we are going to shoot at you just to see what shooting does.
Sure.
So.
All right, so pull the CRT.
Right. Bevier's regiment is going to shoot at you. We pull up the CRT.
All right, and you're at a firepower of 2, right? Yes.
Right.
All right, so for fire combat.
We're at long range. All right.
Yeah, but that's already because it's halved, so you're already covered there.
Gotcha.
Target is in light woods, so that's worth 1 shift to the left. The target is in skirmish order, which is worth 2 more shifts to the left.
Right.
I don't believe that firing through light woods modifier applies.
No, because
you're firing over light woods.
Right.
Because you see firing over heavy woods does do something.
Right.
So 3 shifts to the left is what I see.
Right. So we go to the CRT, and I was at
2.
We get 3 shifts, which moves me to the nothing.
Yes.
So I am not going to fire. It feels like I'm feeling like something could happen with ammunition or
there is a low ammo, but I believe that comes out through events.
Okay. So, well, you know what? Let's give this a shot and see what happens. 2 color dice. A 53.
53 is a 0 to 1. Okay, so Weston's, or whatever, 24th Missouri.
Right.
So 24th Missouri's cohesion rating is a 4. So with your 53, you have a green 0 to 1. And 24th Missouri's cohesion rating is not in that range.
Right. So nothing happens.
I believe nothing happens.
Yes. Okay. Next chit. Let's do it.
Cole, that's a great choice. Roads to Gettysburg 2 is fantastic. Next, Great Campaigns of the American Civil War. The next new one is Hood Strikes North. And along with that is going to be reprinted Stonewall Jackson's Way 2. I will strongly recommend the purchase of both if you do not have Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 already.
Time for Curtis.
Okay. So, Curtis... let's see. So, all right, let me pull the scenario up to just to get this right. Weston is activated with Curtis. So, that's basically 2 guys. Or is it 1 guy? No, it's totally 1 guy. All right, so I think what we're going to do... Okay, so this is the division activation. So we got to see how that works, actually, because this shit behaves differently. All right. Okay, so every infantry and cavalry unit has a corresponding division activation chit in the cup. So is this not the division activation chit?
Car. I believe they were both division activation chits. You have Car and Curtis. Let's see here.
Or is this the CIC chit? This is the CIC chit.
The CIC yeah.
Okay. So when a CIC chit is drawn, the owning player may select any one of his brigades in the game to activate or hold the chit for later use.
Right.
He may then perform a full activation and conduct a normal brigade activation phase with that brigade. Okay, so in that case, it explicitly says that I can activate somebody who's already activated. So I'm going to activate Dodge's brigade.
Okay.
And they are going to perform a maneuver, which means they can move. And we said... okay, hold on. And we have to look at the movement allowance.
I'm going back.
If you choose a maneuver order, the movement allowance for each infantry unit is 9, and each cavalry unit is 12.
There you go.
All right, so back to the TEC over here. That's actually pretty cool and clean, actually, is to say that your movement rating is dependent on the order type. I like that.
Yeah. I'm liking everything I'm seeing so far. It would have been nice to gotten activations mixed up with the events, but that's
that'd
the
be cool.
vagaries of the cup. Yeah.
All right, so it's not like we're doing a ton here. We're going to actually... Okay, so the stacking ability is 8. So we're going to move Dodge. We'll move 35th Illinois here. We're just going to move him what's probably 1. Lane's main road for infantry is just 1. So that's 2 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, we'll stay here. Let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3. Move that there, and then we move. And I guess this marker for car is just placed arbitrarily, so I'm going to move him around. And then Dodge's cavalry, I think we're going to go cavalry in main road is 1. So it's going to, and he's got 12 to move. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Put him back here. And I think we're good on that. So I'll mark him activated.
Okay. Yeah, do those guys move around at all? Like, do they have physical locations in this or not? That is a question.
Well, there's no factors on it, so I think the answer to that is no.
Right.
There's nothing on that marker, and the leader casualties and stuff are kind of reflected in the events, right? So
right.
All right, so back to
Fortunes of War.
This means that the next chit pulled will be negated.
Which has no impact because that was the last chit.
Okay.
So we're done with the activation. And let's see if we got punished by holding those chits because they all have to go back. Not.
Looking at sequence of play again. All right.
Phase 5, end turn phase. End turn phase procedures. 18.
So here's the thing. If there's not like a lot of chits, there's more eventy type chits in the cup than there are
activation
chits that activate units. Okay. So if you can just hold the chits forever, and I don't see where it says that you can't, then, and maybe this is intentional, then what I think is going to happen is on the first turn, you're going to let those pile up. First turn or two is you're going to let those pile up. And until you have all of them in your hand. I'm not sure that doesn't make sense. And then once you start spending them, then they'll go back in the pool.
So it says final. Oh, that's for final held chits. Yeah. Yeah, if you hold them, it looks like you might get some victory points out of it or something.
Well, okay, let's look at that then.
18.1. If you look at that.
The rulebook, by the way, is downloadable. It's a little tricky to find it. It is downloadable from the Revolution Games website. And
go to the main page. Don't go to the store. Go to the main site, and there's a support link up at the top, or and it's got all the rules and their vassal modules there.
Yep. 24 pages of rules, so it's not and that includes the scenarios. So it's probably 20 pages, 18 or 20 pages of rules. So there's really it's not super complicated. All right. Final, both players may play one or more of any eligible event or CIC chits that they're holding at this time.
Right.
But it says may play.
Right. So why would you?
Not must play. Well, maybe there's something I want to play.
Right. At the end, at the final, at the very last.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking it had to have something to do with victory, maybe.
So for example, I'm holding on to Rebels Whooped.
Right.
But it says you hold this chit and play it at the start of any Confederate order step this turn. And that's not where we are in the turn. So
right.
Okay, so it does say eligible.
Right. So, like command confusion. Let's check that out. I've got a command confusion, right? So if I play that, and you hold this chit to be played at the very start of any union order step. All right, so it says that. What else do I got? I've got a... Let me actually unmask these. That's messing me up. So I got me some tactics. God bless America. Mask. So I've got command confusion, rebel yell, and tactics, if you didn't know.
Yes.
So, all right, tactics.
John Longshore, I also divested myself of Avalanche Games product. The one item I kept was their Traveler game, Imperium Third Millennium, which is not very good, but I kept it anyway because it's Traveler. Otherwise, I do not necessarily have a strong positive opinion of Avalanche Press. There's people that like their games. There's people that like Panzer Grenadier, and there's people that like that Great War at Sea or World War II at Sea or whatever that thing's called. But I'm not particularly a fan, and I don't really want to deal with them. So
I don't do Avalanche. Gary, you know me pretty well. What's the other company I don't do?
Decision.
You are correct, sir. You have answered the question. Why don't I do them? What is my opinion of them?
Because they are dicks.
Yes. Yes, that is the answer. That is the answer. Decision games are a bunch of dicks. Okay, so...
Now, I actually like some of their stuff, but you do have to... definitely, when buying from Decision Games, you need to be careful and do your research and know what you're getting into.
Avalanche is just like, I had this professor... German descent in college, and always used to say, because they're incompetent, about the administrate. That's Avalanche. They're incompetent, but I don't think they're like sleazy or maybe have an evil coven running them. But Decision Games, yes. So all right. It looks like all these. That's my question. All of them say play it at a specific time. None of them say play it in the final phase.
Right.
But they're giving us this option to do it now. So maybe it's like you could just play it now.
I suspect it means that that we don't have any eligible chits.
I was
Remember
looking at
that there's a
all.
different
Well,
set of event chits that might apply in a different scenario. So maybe
right.
there's.
So I'm looking at all the chits, and they
Uh,
all say, um, at the start of, at the this of, at the that of, like every single one. You follow me?
I'm
None of
looking.
them. Yeah, none of them say at any time.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm guessing, this is just a guess, since they give us the option, like for instance, like Command Confusion, you could play it now.
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, so it says specifically the Rebel Yell chit, which I think you're holding, right,
Right,
is something that you could do right now.
right. You could also play like stuff. So this is up to your discretion, right? So obviously, playing a tactic shift right now would not
Right.
help you, right?
Right.
And firefight would not help you. But yeah, Rebel Yell could,
Rebels
or if you
Rebels whooped too.
right, or playing like Command Confusion could help you for next turn. You know what I'm saying? Because that cancels orders and stuff like that for the
Right.
other guy. Or low ammo. That could help you.
Yes, but no, I'm not holding that. So
Yeah. I'm just saying. So I am going to play Rebel Yell.
okay, what's that do? Well, it's me first, actually.
Oh, is it? You go
Union
ahead.
first, yeah. So I will play Rebels whooped. We'll pick immediately roll one die for stragglers, and roll a 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, that's me, right? Oh, you roll it.
Well,
Okay.
I roll this die. So you do need to flip any one fresh unit of the.
About.
I'm not seeing where that makes any sense.
Let me look at the rest of your events. So we just established that Rebel Whoop doesn't work.
Right.
Command Confusion would. Yeah. Low ammo would.
Low ammo could.
Yeah. Firefight could.
Firefight is.
Firefight would not.
Firefight actually sounds like it would absolutely
Yeah.
would have
Absolutely
an effect.
would. Right.
Nothing. I mean, we're not.
I think tactics can't. I have one called Union Fatigue.
Okay.
That's kind of the straggler thing. After the brigade, it's like my stragglers. My whatever rebels whooped
Right.
is Union Fatigue. So yeah, it looks like some you play and some you can't. You just gotta. It just can't be tied to an activation or like you're obviously not going to play something that's going to help you in close combat when you can't do it.
Right.
Right. So take a look at yours, see if you have anything you'd like to play that would apply. Firefight could, but you're not in range.
I am in one place.
Yeah. With
Weston
the skirmishers
versus Bevier.
Yeah.
No, that's a
Right.
crap attack, and I'd rather hold the chit, to be honest.
Right. So, which I like stuff like this, like intelligent chit play. So we are going to play. We are going to play Rebel Yell, and that gives everybody like a free move. Let me look at it. You select one friendly hex, just one hex, and move every Confederate infantry and cavalry there up to one hex or 2 hexes if cavalry. And this may be a charge move if you're doing it. So that's it. I just get to nudge a guy, is what this turns into. And I think we're going to nudge him.
Okay.
And that's that. That is
No,
the
it's
final
not.
Chit. Oh,
The
you get to
same
play.
selected Confederate units, even if they did not actually move, must then conduct an immediate close combat against any one adjacent enemy hex.
Yeah, we're gonna take on Weston. Let's do it. Yee! I'm not gonna do a rebel yell up here, someone's ears.
All right.
So, all right. So let's go here. And we get to play with close combat, so that
Yep.
there's that. Yep.
All right. So it's 4-4.
Right.
So there's no shifts for that. Greater CR than enemy is the case. So you get one shift to the right for that. Defender is on the higher side of the slope, so you get 2 to the left for that.
Ugh. Rebel yell event Chit.
So you get 2 to the right for that. So you're up 1 total, right, for where I'm at right now.
Right. And you don't get a minus for being in skirmish. That's interesting.
That is interesting. I would definitely expect that to be the... Oh, unless there's some kind of special status for that. So let's check that. Hold on.
Oh, like it halves your strength or something basic.
Or
Right.
they have to just bail.
Yeah.
All right. Infantry. This is 16.0. Infantry and cavalry units can enter skirmish order, meaning they're deployed in an open, spread out formation. An enemy unit that moves adjacent to an SO must pay 1 extra movement point. That doesn't apply here. After this move, the SO unit that's skirmish order movement, must immediately withdraw 1 hex away. Okay, so I think I withdraw 1 hex away.
Yeah, there ain't no assault. You just gotta get away from me. Okay.
All right, so
All right, that's that. Is the phase done?
we alternate. So if I felt like it, I could use that firefight to take a shot at you at this point, but I don't think that's worthwhile.
All right, let me look at my Chit, see if I have any others I'd like to. So I've got 2 choices.
And again, I could shoot, but it's a long range shot, right?
Nope, I have no others to play.
Okay.
So now we are done. We both passed. Alternating.
Right,
So we go to, yep. So advance the game turn, and then we're going to have to organize the cup.
Is there a game turn record track somewhere?
There must
yes,
be,
there
right?
is. All right.
The
Oh,
clock.
cool. We have reinforcements come in.
Yes, you do.
All right, so let's throw them right here for now. I've moved up the game turn track.
Okay.
And let's look at the scenario once again. Comes in at hex 1800. I'm trying to find 1800. These are very difficult to read. The hex numbers back in the woods.
Yeah. I get what they're doing with the prettiness. You know, they're trying to make it very Civil War and period, and also be aesthetically attractive. And I
Okay,
think
this makes no sense at all.
What? You're coming in on 1800, literally?
At hex 1800. But 1800 is in the middle of heavy woods. And it's artillery. That are not allowed to be in heavy woods.
Let me examine that. Reinforcements. Everybody's like showing up in those heavy. Well, if what they're saying Because they said it for all of them. It wouldn't be errata. Now, are you sure artillery just cannot, no way in hell, can be in heavy woods?
Yes. Cavalry and artillery. Well, okay. So cavalry and artillery units may only occupy a heavy woods hex if they are also on a road hex, which we could interpret as being both the main roads and the lanes. But that hex is not either of those things.
So I remember with reinforcements reading about it that they can be overstacked. There's no problem with any of that, right? And then
Sure.
You're just kind of moving in.
Yeah.
So because of what they're doing is saying you're showing up there, but then you can move to an adjacent hex from there. It's what I mean. It's doable for your art.
Okay. So FYI, I do not see any posted errata on their website.
Nope.
Not for this.
Nope.
Okay. So in that case, let's go back to the table of contents here.
I am actually going to look on Board Game Geek while you're doing that. Because I'm that kind of guy. And I think you'll probably have the answer before I do. Because they have all those guys showing up in 1800, and that's a pretty serious errata.
Yeah.
If it's not errata, if there isn't a rule that says, hey, no big deal. Nope, there's no errata. Let me look at the forums while you're doing that.
All right. So 13.11 is reinforcements. Artillery units are placed in the hex specified at the start of the artillery phase, even if overstacked. That's fine. Infantry and cavalry reinforcements are all placed in the specified hex, even overstacked. Only upon they move normally from their initial location upon entry, and if overstacked. Let me look at the scenario again. Union reinforcements. Turn 2 at hex 1800.
Right.
And that's Hayden's Battery and the 3rd Illinois, or elements of the 3rd Illinois. So we have, basically, they're not real cavalry, but they're mounted infantry, in a heavy woods, with artillery being telling us to place them in a heavy woods hex. They're not on a road, right?
Right.
Now, if it was a road hex, that would actually be totally fine.
What's that? Okay, elevation.
All the reinforcements for the entire scenario show up in this hex.
I'm gonna bet you money. Can you go through heavy woods in a lane hex?
I believe you can, because it says road. It doesn't say main road. But there isn't. There is. It's not there.
Not knowing anything different, right? And I'm not finding any errata on board that, right?
Uh-huh.
So I say let's call that a lane hex and drive on. That connects to the adjacent lane.
Well, there isn't even an adjacent lane, actually.
Yeah,
but
from here to here. From here to here.
Well, that's 2 hexes away, but that's fine.
That's 2 hexes?
It is 2 hexes.
Yeah, it is. That's crazy. Why don't...
Yeah, it's what I was looking for is a rule that says, hey, place any incoming reinforcements within 3 hexes of the reinforcing hex or something like that. And I don't see anything like that. Not that would necessarily make sense, but it can't make less sense. So let me check one more thing here before we say screw it and just put them somewhere else.
This is the kind of thing that beats me. I mean, if you got some errata, cool, but like note it.
Uh-huh. Huh. I'm looking at Consum World.
That's where it was just about to go. Thunder in the Ozarks. Yeah. Content World, great company, horrible to search, right? Yeah.
Well, it's a primitive forum, and yet if you suggest that we should update it, people go bananas. So,
Yeah.
because literally they've been doing it it has looked like this for 20 years.
They're partying like it's 1999. Right, yeah.
All right, so as far as I can tell, no one has posted in the Thunder in the Ozarks folder since last year. So
okay, yeah.
And there's no errata posted at the top or anything like that.
Nope.
So I think here's what I'm going to say.
Let's look at the other reinforcements and where they come in. Like
they're all. Yeah, I checked that. They're all this hex. This is the Union reinforcement hex for this scenario.
It's got to be 2300. There's no other gosh darn choice.
Well, I think that's what we're gonna say. The shit. What happened to the artillery? Oh.
No, it specifically says hex 1800. Guys. Yeah.
It's crystal clear.
Yeah. It's got to be 2300.
Right.
And I even saw this like someone was asking, you get into this land sometimes where people who are fans of a game, it's like it's like a little too close knit and they don't treat the questions. So there's a forum entry on Board Game Geek, right, where somebody asks the question in rules. I'll read it to you. It's like you posted it. Artillery and heavy woods, right? Just got the game. I read through the rule book and setting up the first scenario. I see it says that artillery and cavalry cannot move in and out of a heavy forest hex unless it's on road, and the artillery may not fire out of it. Yet all the artillery pieces are set up in heavy woods hexes? ? And a guy says, I suspect you're using the wrong map. For example, in My God, Poor Ben, you're setting up, the artillery sets up in 2309. So whatevs. Guy's question doesn't even get answered. Yeah, I'm with you. It's 2300. There's no other choice. There they go.
Okay.
All right. So, I'm gonna triple check one thing before we make this decision. The fact that it takes so much effort to work it out is not pleasing. It's not like we're neophytes here, man. It's not like this is our first rodeo. So let me find. Yeah, it says at hex 1800. At hex. It doesn't say south of, north of, east of, west of. It says at. So we're moving in there. So all right, that's it. All right, so that's that. Now we got to refill the cup, right?
Are there multiple maps in this game?
No, there aren't.
Wait a minute. It's a one map game, right?
Right.
What wrong map could you be using then?
I found the guy's response to the original poster to be incomprehensible.
It's not just incomprehensible, it's specious bullshit.
Yes.
You're using the wrong map. What wrong map? If there's one map, there is no wrong map. There's no right map versus wrong map. There's one fucking map.
I'm with you, brother. Well, you're angry at a Board Game Geek poster.
Well,
it sounds like every day of my life. Anyway, Board Game Geek is like worse than Twitter. That's my take on it. So anyway, so let's go to all right. So we move on, And we do the command decision phase, right? Right?
We haven't yet, no.
No, we should do that now, is what I'm
Yes,
saying.
I concur.
All right.
All right, so the first thing that we need to do is pull this Fog of War thing off the map and put it back up here.
Okay.
All right, so Rebel Yell becomes a possible chit that can be pulled.
Correct.
And then we pull all these back down.
Right. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. So all the stuff we know that has to be played, let's put it back. So here, right? Makes sense?
Okay, that's cool.
Your activation, my activation, and both our CICs. All right, so we know they all go in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so Rebel Yell's a possibility. I know what aren't possibilities. You know what aren't possibilities.
I cannot unmask those chits. So
they are now
because you masked them.
Yes. Not all of them. It's just they get a little sticky.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Right. If I mask it, you can't see it.
No, you masked them all. I can't unmask the Confederate ones.
Right, and I couldn't unmask yours. Right. So once they're masked, only the player can. All right. So we do the same thing. It's, regardless of what we're holding, we got to choose one key event and choose two others. So close your eyes, and I will choose my key. And I'm done, and I'm going to mask these.
All right, I'm done as well. I have put my key in the cup.
3-card Monty.
And then we pick two other ones?
Yep.
So they're all going in, essentially.
For you, yes.
Okay.
That feels good. This guy's going in the cup. Turn to Chit cup. This guy's going to the cup. Turn to Chit cup. I'm going to send these guys back masks so I don't know by process of elimination what's in the Chit cup. Alright, so...
If the Union came in from Hex 1800, they would have hit McCullough Texans in the flank.
It's just so ridiculous. It's obviously an errata. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, but there's no...
Right.
I agree. I think it's obvious. It's an obvious typo situation.
Right.
And yet it has not been addressed by the designer or the publisher. And I mean, if fans want to address this type of thing, that's cool. But you got one dismissive response from somebody who is obviously
right. So I'm gonna go. If you
unknowledgeable.
If you read the response I was talking about, what made me go a level deeper on that. So, the guy who asked the question is obviously like English second language Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
And then it's like an Amerikansky guy come back and gives him, slaps him around, gives him wrong information. I hate that stuff. Just, take the question, try to figure out if you don't know what the guy's asking, ask him what he's asking.
Right.
So we got everything in there.
In fairness, I've had designers give me responses like this too before in the past.
But that wasn't the designer. That was just...
I'm aware that this is not Herman. I've actually met Herman, but I've had designers be dismissive like this too of questions. It's like, no, your rulebook doesn't say. Just if you're confused about what I'm asking, then cool. But if you're, you're here in this thread or discussion forum or whatever it is, pretending to answer questions, but you're not really answering questions. You're instead being a dick. And I'd rather see that from random fan than from the designer, right? So, but still, that's disheartening. Right. That lowers my opinion of this entire...
We sent the wrong version to China, like certain Compass games, So that's another option. It's just, blatantly lie. So let's go. We've got our chits in the cup. I think everything is kosher. And we now move on with the SOP.
Okay.
We start with your artillery step, and we alternate. We alternate.
Yes.
Which is cool. It's less sitting around. It's more engaging.
All right. So let's play with this line of sight tool. Click, then holding down the left button, click on map to view line of sight. Okay, so we're going to go from here to here. Okay. Okay. So the shot we're looking at is Jones's battery to 3rd Missouri. Okay. It's 4 hexes, right? So it's, let me check range. I like a lot of what's going on here, though.
Panza informs us it's a 2-mapper, which he might be right, but...
Oh, well, you have the game. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, I'm open to paper copy. Having said that, though, 1800's pretty clear, and the second part of the map, like, if you look at the bottom of this, it ends in 1100.
Right. So if the second map is numbered independently of this map, though, hex on the south map.
Right. But guess what? We're playing this game on this map, and it says 1800, and it's impossible.
Right. So all right. So I think what that probably means is they probably should come in at 1017. Because they'd be coming in from the south. Right.
No. But see, the thing is, this is not a 2-map game. This is a 1-map game.
Right.
This scenario is a 1-map scenario.
Well, it's supposed to be.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm fine with the call that we have right now.
Around Elkhorn Tavern and uses that map only, it says. This scenario covers just the portion that occurred on the east side around Elk and uses that map only.
Well, then they shouldn't give you reinforcement hexes on the other map, right? So
right.
Anyway.
Or if that doubles up on 1800,
right,
which I seriously doubt.
All right. So Jones firing at 3rd Missouri. Okay. I believe he does have line of sight. It actually just crosses that crest, but that's a down crest. He is one level up from Little, and then that crest goes down to one other level, so I don't believe that it blocks. But it does cross into that heavy woods hex. So I believe it is firing over heavy woods. So we're looking at the CRT. We are at... what are you in?
Who are you trying to kill?
3rd Missouri. From Little's brigade.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So, targets in light woods. All right, so that's one to the left. We're firing over heavy woods, so that's 2 to the left.
Okay.
I believe nothing else applies. So this is going to kick us from the 4 down to the 2 column. Are we in agreement on that?
Yes.
Okay. Was one more last time because you were in heavy woods at the time, I believe. All right. So on the 2, we're going to roll D66. 66. How about that?
That's about as bad as it gets.
What is your proficiency as a 5? Which is really good. So that's a green.
So we do a green fire cohesion. Okay.
Yep. So you're going to roll D66. 15.
I'm going to roll 15.
So you have no depletion, but you have a R2 retreat result.
Right. So
I also like that, by the way, that there's a difference between
so we
casualties
can't be
and retreats.
So since I'm skedaddling, does overstacking count?
I would assume it does. Let's look.
Like, can you overstack while retreating?
Let's find out. All right. At the end of a given phase or step, they can normally be exceeded during movement or retreat, as long as they're met at the end of each unit's movement or retreat. So,
Okay.
you would be retreating 2.
So we're going to go 1, 2. Whoa.
You're moving the wrong unit.
Am I?
Yes, 3rd Missouri. There you go.
Well, Price is in a weird spot.
Yes, but I don't think Price I don't believe that unit represents anything real.
It is immaterial as to. There he goes. Okay, there we go.
Was this the first game in this series?
Yeah, that might be an explanation for. That's why you play test. You even play test your final art components.
You got to play test your playtesting process.
No, yeah.
You know, we didn't sign an NDA, so I guess I could mention that we did one of our local groups did a playtest for Decision last year.
Right.
We did not like the game very much, but we did our round of alpha testing and submitted our reports.
Yeah, I mean, the more play testing you get, the more benefiting you get. So like for a hot dry season, I did a play test. Like the rules and everything were worked out, ready to go to proof, right?
Uh-huh.
But I'm doing another round now, just because I want the player aids play tested.
Mm-hmm.
Like not even so much for proofing, because that's easy to fix, right? But like, are they working the right way? Is there anything else we'd like to add in? That kind of thing, and you only get that through testing. So it's like trying to like not do it before the final art's made. Not good, But anyway, continue.
All right. Anyway.
So now my turn with the artillery.
Yeah, your turn with artillery. So move or fire.
So those are light woods, right? Adjacent to that road?
That road is going through Lightwoods, yes.
Okay.
I think.
And I can't fire artillery from that, can I?
Yes, I think you can, actually. Hold on. I think there's a modifier for it. No, not really. Heavy woods, no, because you can't be in heavy woods unless you are on a road.
Right. But light woods, yes.
Yes.
So if I set up here, for example, right?
Right.
Would I be able to see that battery up there?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Okay. So that's my move then. Over to you.
All right. On the other hand, let's try this line of sight thing again. I believe I can see you. You see the line I'm putting down?
Right.
I believe I can see you where you are.
Right.
All right, so we're going to take that shot.
Okay.
And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which that's smooth bore. Yep. Let me look at this one instead, actually. I can see you with that, too. We'll take that shot because it's a better shot. All right, so Bowen's battery is going to take that 5 hex shot. Smooth bores, which is effective range of 5. So, looking at the modifiers, trying to keep the modifiers out of the way. You are in Lightwood, so that's 1 to the left.
Right.
We're not firing over heavy woods. No, we're not. It's just 1 to the left.
Right.
All right, so we're on the 3 table then. D66, we have a 32. That is a green 0, which is nothing.
Okay.
All right, so back to you for artillery.
1. What's the cost to move into Lightwoods? So that's 2, because I have to...
For artillery?
Yeah, it's one
Well,
and a half.
are you moving on a road?
Well, he moved 1.5. He had to go up a slope on a road, so that's 1.5.
So Lightwoods for artillery costs 3.
Okay. 2, 1.5, 2. Boom. He's going to go there. Over to you.
Okay. I have one more. That's not true. I have 2 more. Jones will take that shot on that hex as well. It is... Let me line of sight it again. Line of sight tool works great once I figured out how to do it. It's really not complicated. Same deal. 1 shift... It's only 2 factors, though, so it's 1 shift to the left. So we're firing on the 1 column. We have rolled a 25. That is absolutely not anything.
Okay. So...
I'm feeling like I'm missing something on the way artillery works.
Half.
Unless the intention, and maybe it is that you are going to mass your batteries, which might be smart, actually.
3. Yeah. And I've got all the rest of the artillery. Right. Boom,
Okay.
boom.
But you can only put
8 strength points.
Well, 8 strength points, but cavalry costs 3 quarters.
No. It's really 10. So
it would be. Math! I wasn't prepared to do math.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure. Yep. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'll just go with him. And these guys will ease on down the road. All right, so that's that. All right, so artillery is done.
All right.
Pull the next Chit.
We said Union artillery moves 8, did we not?
I moved 6, which I've been doing.
So we're going to move Hayden's battery here.
Oh, well, you should have moved him first. We should have been alternating. That's what I meant. I thought you were out of already.
Well, I can move him last.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He just comes in during this phase, right?
Right.
So I think choosing to move him last is totally okay. Although it might have been a better idea to move him first, tactically. All right, so I believe that is the entire artillery phase. Right? You got anything else?
Yep. I am done. I'm all outs of guns. Big guns.
All right.
So we can move on.
All right, so play any held events. I don't believe I'm doing that right now.
Let me double check.
Where are my chits that I saved?
I do not know. What did you save?
Firefight and tactics.
And how do those get pulled again? Because we can always just replenish them. If you follow me. You had Rebels whooped. There they are. They're masked. It's got to be these guys. No, because remember, you were out of chits, right?
Yes.
Whoa.
Did they accidentally get put in a cup?
That could have happened.
They totally did.
Okay. Well, let's yank them all out and put them back. We haven't pulled a chit yet, so this is easy.
I got it. Nope, I got them. Put those back.
How'd you get them back?
Right click and draw specific cards.
Ah, very good. All right, cool.
All right, I'm not playing any of them now, however.
Okay, all right.
So draw chit. So I will draw this time.
Yes.
Confederate firefight.
Is that only infantry?
Yes,
We are going to hold that.
I figured. All right, next is Confederate low ammo.
We're holding that.
Okay. Next is Fog of War. So, one die.
Okay. All right. So I roll a die. I did this last time, but it could affect either of us, so it doesn't really matter, correct?
I think nominally, yeah.
6.
Okay. 6 is possible Confederate general casualty.
Okay.
So we got to look that up. The owning player of the possibly affected general rolls 2 dice and reads them as the combat die roll in a number from 11 to 66. So roll a d66.
Okay. Roll a 66. Here we go.
44. Van Dorn. Okay. Back to the rules. If the division activation or the CIC chit for the rolled general is not in play, which he's in play, right?
Yeah, on his casualty side.
Right. That general has been killed, wounded, or otherwise incapacitated. Remove the affected chit from the game and replace it with the corresponding casualty version.
Which we already have.
Right. Okay.
There's a special. Let me look at the scenario while you're doing that.
Okay, so the Van Dorn CIC chit is always considered to be in the game and subject to becoming a casualty. If on the Van Dorn's illness track replaces CIC chit or in its current location.
But it says, yeah, in the scenario rules, it said should Van Dorn become a casualty during the normal course of play, only the casualty chit can be played. The normal CIC chit is not available.
Okay, so
when it comes right, yeah.
So the casualty chit stays.
Right, past 3
right.
o'clock.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, cool. All right. So that's that. Van Dorn has been injured. Right. So this goes back, I guess, here. Next one.
Where'd you put it?
Union Command Confusion.
Where'd you put it? The chit.
This one?
No, the Fog of War.
It's over on the Chit Cup panel to the left, to the right hand side, all the way to the right.
Oh, there's even more. Let me.
Here, I'll put it over here. There you go.
I got an idea. Boom.
That's a good idea. Good thinking.
Okay.
All right. Command Confusion. You hold this chit. I guess we're holding it.
Yeah, it only really works if I'm under like some kind of orders.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't do much.
All right, so that's fine. We're holding it. And Vessel Module Hiccup. First time on the new computer. My nose is bothering me again.
Do you want me to save it and start a new room?
No. That will recover from this.
Okay.
And I think this is just a Java thing. All right, Carr. Let's see what Carr can do. He's going to roll against that 4. He's rolled a 5 once again. He gets a limited activation, which means he can do nothing. Once again. So
he really can't. Yeah, gotcha.
He can fire, but he's not in a position to fire. Right. So,
right.
So next, there's your Van Dorn casualty.
Let's see. I need to roll under his number or under, and I get a CIC.
Okay, so
I get to choose an activation, a brigade.
Right.
And I believe it acts as full.
It does.
But I'm not. Okay. So the first real deal thing in this game, in my opinion, has just occurred. So we are going to activate.
Did that chit not come out last time?
It did, but I failed the roll.
Oh.
So looking at this, okay, I see. I have a slack, I have a little, I have a green, and I have a Missouri State Guard Brigade, right? And those are my activations.
Pretty much, yeah.
And because I'm in like one big division, so this is all price. And you've got mixtures of 2 divisions.
Yeah, so you pick a brigade, right?
Right.
Okay, so you're picking basically light green, light blue, or dark blue.
Right. We are going to
or darker green.
Send the Missouri State Guard into maneuver. So for cavalry, that gives us maneuver. Maneuver. Is that under... Okay, brigade activation.
This is turn 3, right?
No, this is turn 2.
Oh, you're right.
Where are the things about the different like orders you can give when you activate?
That is on page...
Maybe it's 11?
It is 11, yeah.
All right, so we're doing maneuver, which means infantry can do 9, cavalry can do 12. Okay. And we're moving along a lane. Which is 1 for the infantry. Lane's a main road. So we're going to go 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why do you have Fortunes of War on top of one of your guys?
That was the vassal module hiccup. Let me put that where it goes.
Okay.
We'll consider that to be the next Chit, I guess.
Okay. So you don't have a dude there. That's just Fortunes
No,
of War.
that's because... So I've always had this on running vassal on multiple computers. Just every once in a while, the module will just... You'll be in the middle of dragging a piece, and it will just seize up, and it will recover, but because you, in the meantime, probably move the mouse, that piece could end up wherever.
Okay. So let's see. Key. That's Light Woods. Light Woods is 2. So we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
By the way, has anybody in the stream noticed anything bad about video quality or anything like that? Does it look okay? Does it sound okay? All that stuff. I should have asked that 2 hours ago.
And this is now... I'm trying to get over here. It looks like we got to get over a slopey slope or something. So let's look at the key. Hexside terrain. This here, is that steep slope or slope? Looks steep.
The double slope is the steep one. Where are we talking about?
Look where I'm moving back and forth.
That is a steep slope.
Okay. So that'd be a steep slope and steeps.
You're Confederates. You can. I will give you the special Confederate bonus special rule. They can stumble drunkenly down the steep slope.
So that costs 2. So that's in and of itself. That is 3 and 5 to get there, and that ends his move.
Jordan McMullen, welcome. Hopefully you are enjoying punching your 2,000-piece Battle for Normandy.
So my maneuver is over. Price's Missouri State Guard A has been activated, and we go back to the Chit Cup.
Okay. All right, next one we decided was going to be Fortunes of War.
Could I have done some shooting, by the way?
Let's check that. I don't know that you can.
Let me go back to maneuver.
Brigades units under maneuver cannot engage the enemy nor conduct any kind of combat. They may also not rally. However, if you're under an attack order, you can still move.
Right.
You could just only move 6 MPs and 8 for cavalry.
Yeah, I was good with getting my move going.
Okay.
Getting my move on. So, yeah, let's do Fortunes of War.
All right.
So I take it that means I roll a d6 again?
Wait, hold on. All right, no, that means that the next chit. That means that the next chit pulled will be negated.
All right, so the next whatever shit you pull next.
Rebel Yell goes right back up here, I guess we'll put it.
Yes.
All right, so next is Curtis. All right, so we'll pick a brigade, and again, I kind of feel obliged to pick Dodge's brigade.
Wait a sec. Oh, that was my key chit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead.
So, what is it? 12 for cavalry. Let's look at cavalry on the road. Cavalry on the road is just 1. I guess we can call it March and take it as a half? How does that work?
What would...
March column movement, 13.5A.
13.5A. All right.
Let's look at that. Any unit that is under maneuver orders or any artillery unit pays only 1/2 movement per hex entered when moving along connected main road hexes, regardless of the other terrain. Okay. He's not on a main road. He's out in the woods. So he's going to go... What's light woods for cavalry?
Oh, I could have done that with my dang infantry. Or is that just for cavalry or artillery?
That's just cavalry and artillery.
Okay.
2,
well, cavalry,
3, 4,
because
5, 6,
artillery
7,
isn't
8,
subject
9, 10,
to
11, 12. Okay, there's 12 for them. Or do I want to do an attack order? I'm really not in position to do an attack order, am I?
No, you're really not. You don't have much of dodge there.
Nope. What I can do is dismount these guys. Is there a reason for me to do that? They have better firepower on their mounted side, which may just mean that they're real cavalry and not actually dismounted cavalry irregulars or mounted infantry. All right, so that's fine. I'm now reconsidering the maneuver order. Let me reconsider the maneuver order and make it an attack order instead. Which means this guy would have to move back 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, which would put him there, which would be fine. Sorry about that. And then this guy can move 6. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Except it's half. Let me make sure I'm reading that rule correctly. A unit that's under maneuver orders. Oh, okay, so that would only be maneuver orders. So hell. Nah. Sorry. We're changing back to maneuver. The more important thing is probably to get this guy forward anyway. And car is done. So next Chit. Curtis will go back up here.
Pull away.
Union low ammo. Let's look at this event.
Think doesn't matter unless
The
someone.
Chit has two possible effects. You may hold the Chit and play it at the start of any Chit draw phase. Roll a die, add a die 1 or 2, place an eliminated fragile infantry or cavalry unit into the broken box 3 on the broken track. Okay.
That feels like a held Chit to me.
Alternatively, in turn 10 or thereafter, you may play this Chit immediately upon it being drawn if there are any low ammo. Yeah, but there's nothing that applies to right now, and you have to roll to do it.
Right.
Also, the other option is after 10 or more, so it sounds like I'm holding this.
Yes.
So, all right, so that's that.
Pull the Chit.
Next one is price.
Price. All right. So Price needs to roll a d6. Price rolls a 1.
Okay, so he gets a full activation.
For all his guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think you do 1 brigade at a time. Brigade orders.
So the CIC thing was just, it gives you an extra brigade move. But here, you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly.
Right, okay.
But so the guy that you, well, he's not part of Price anyway, is he? No, he is.
Yes, he is, yeah.
So I don't believe you can activate that unit again.
Okay.
But otherwise, I believe you can activate everybody. So if the die rolls, so when the Chit is drawn, the owning player immediately rolls a die, and you rolled it. 1 eligible brigade may perform a full activation. Wait a minute. 1 eligible brigade may perform a full activation. The player selects 1 brigade, blah, 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 blah.
So 1
and
brigade.
Then what happens? After the selected brigades... Oh, okay. I think we screwed this up before. After the selected brigade is finished, then you put that Chit back in the cup.
Okay.
That's interesting.
What about CIC?
So...
Same thing? Goes back in cup or stays out?
Chit functions like a regular CIC Chit. 10.6, hold on. Okay. So when finished, the brigade activation from the CIC Chit.
Right.
The CIC Chit comes out at that point, but that division is not considered finished. So you can activate him again.
Okay, got it. So the bottom line is Price goes back in the cup.
Well, you activate somebody, and then Price goes back in the cup.
Right. All right. So we did want to activate somebody else, so that's what we're going to do. Missouri State Guard B. They are going to do... They're doing a maneuver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Five, and 6, 7, 8. That's that. And that is it. So I'm going to reset that guy because he's still free to go from Price, but this guy is now activated. Okay. So that's it. Did my Price thing, so we sent him back to the cup. Well, we got a very no maneuver on turn. That was a serious screw up. Okay.
Next is Price again.
Here we go. So Price is going to 6, huh? Price is going to activate. Oh, I need to roll to see what kind.
Casca, I'll look at that blurring thing. That's something that I've noticed in previous videos for Vassal before. That could be stream quality, or it could be OBS because I basically look at OBS settings when I install OBS, and that's it. So I'll look at it again. I think I caught everything, but I'll take a second pass at it just because I want it to look good as possible.
So I rolled for Price. I rolled a 5. So that means I have to do now a partial activation for somebody, and that's going to complete their activation.
So yes, but the only phase that they get to do anything in is the fire phase.
Right, so I need to pick somebody that I don't want to do it, essentially. So
Yeah.
we are going to pick Slack. And
he's actually got a shot.
Yes, that's why. So
it's a crap shot, but he's got a shot.
Yeah, we're going to take a crap shot at Weston.
All right.
And then that's going to complete their activation. So,
all right, so he's going to be halved to 2.
I rolled a 13. We both.
I believe it's safe to say that's not anything.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So back to Chits. Return him to the cup, and go ahead and pull. Price. 6. Another partial.
If we pull Price one more time, I'm going to suspect that the cup's not working right.
That very well may be the case. So,
John Longshore, I like a lot of what I see here. I like the way the combat works. I like the way the orders work. I find the map hard to read, which, to be honest, I find a lot of Rick Barber maps hard to read. I mean, it's by far not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's not the clearest art style. It's pretty, but hard to read in places. On the other hand, I think the chip pull mechanism is needlessly obfuscatory. And I find myself...
Explain that comment.
We have this giant pile of chits in the cup, right?
Right.
And the majority of them are event chits. And on top of that, you end up creating this back, at least if we're interpreting it correctly, and maybe we're not, you're creating this big hand over the first several turns of basically you're accumulating all the event chits into this hand, right? And I'm not sure I see what effect that is achieving.
So I agree with you. I do think with the chits, though, because we were screwing up the activations, that those events would get played.
Yeah.
The first turn. Yeah, they were just getting held because we were like, oh, that, it's done. So
yeah.
that keeps...
And I mean, this is turn 2. It's a meeting engagement, right? So it's, maybe that's just... But P Ridge was a meeting engagement, right? So that's going to happen in the first 2 or 3 turns in pretty much every one of these, I think.
My
opinion on this is still preliminary.
Right. I'm with you, and that I do think that might add into us like gathering the event chits for no reason. Well, if we were doing more activations, we'd have more reason to use them, right?
Yeah.
I like the counters, and
I like the counters too.
Right, and I'm withholding judgment on the mechanics so far. I like the way they're doing artillery, where instead of, like, my assumption was there was going to be a fussy limbering and unlimbering system. It's like you're moving or firing.
Yeah, and there's the column thing on the road, where if you're on a main road, you get this, you get this column bonus, but only if you're in the maneuver order.
Right. But
I think that's absolutely fine.
Right, and it doesn't force you to limber and limber. The only thing, definite negative, so I'm kind of vaguely positive about most of it. What I don't like is, I understand trying to make it pretty and look period. I'm a big fan of trying to go with period look in your art, right? Writing location, like, it looks like printing off of, like, Led Zeppelin 4, okay, is not the way to go. And having all this dark coloring with the dark colored hex rows that you can barely read is a horrible move, okay? There's got to be a way to do this map and make it more
readable,
instantly. That, as well as just having recall. Like, you see a terrain type and you know what it means.
Yeah.
But you're literally obfuscating the hex numbers.
Yeah.
You don't need hex, right? So if you're going to do that, hey, why not use like a lighter color that would show through stuff?
So here's another thing, okay? You got heavy woods, okay? I want you to compare hex 3805
Right.
With hex.
Well,
I'm trying to find a heavy woods on the same elevation.
Could you be more clear? Because I really can't read his numbering.
Yeah, it's second row from the top.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's a different looking hex, right? Than the color of the hex, not just which you would expect to mean the elevation. And then you look at hex, and I have to take my glasses off to read these damn hex numbers. Compare that hex to 3407, right? Those look like they're two different elevations, right? One's kind of pink, the other one's green.
3805, right? I'm looking at 3805, right? Because what's happening is...
Yeah.
So 3805, and I'm comparing it with what?
3407.
Move the counter to... So you see this counter?
Yeah.
Move it over the two hexes that we're comparing.
Okay, so I'm looking at this hex versus this hex. The color's different of those hexes. Now, this actually could be something that's coming out on the Vassal module more so than would be the case in the physical map. That's possible.
Having messed with these and seeing these maps show up in different things, I'm going to go right now and go to the Board Game Geek site, right? Because that's just there. So I got a link. And I bet you there's a picture of the map. And I'll tell you, too sweet, because I don't want to... It's on the porch. I don't want to go out on the porch and get the freaking physical copy of the map I have, right?
So, I don't know.
It looks...
I think unquestionably the map is lacking in clarity.
It looks not much...
I'm trying to think if I have any Rick Barber maps.
It's what I thought.
The answer is yes, but the ones that I have are in the Clash of Arms Civil War Campaign series, which are area maps. So I'm not sure that those would be as susceptible to hex maps.
I'll say this. Compared to this PDF print, okay, looking at the map on a table, glossy,
Patrick, I didn't lose you, did
I? No.
Patrick.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I'm
right here. I am...
What just happened? So,
can you hear me?
Something weird's going on.
Can you hear me?
I'm not sure what just happened. You guys could still hear me, right? Patrick, I cannot hear you. And in this case... I'm getting desktop audio part of the time. Something weird's going on.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hold on a second.
Can you hear me now?
I fixed it.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Either you fixed it, or I just exited the server and went back. Right.
No, actually, I don't think that was it. Sound somehow became muted on my side.
Okay.
I can only assume that was some new and hitherto unknown hotkey that I was not previously aware of.
I looked at the Board Game Geek map printed on glossy, which is what they did, okay? The elevations, like the slopes, become clear,
okay,
in my opinion, but you still have... It's just sloping effects that become clear.
Right.
You still have this terrain color mess,
I actually don't mind the slopes. I think the slopes are actually pretty clear. But color...
But looking at it, there's no way on a physical map, just looking at the close-ups and stuff, I'd be able to read the hex grid markers.
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah, I mean... So look at hex. Look at this hex right here. I'm going to move this thing again. Look at this hex, right? That hex right there. How can anybody read that hex number?
Let me move it. It's impossible. It's up. It's got a slope, slope on it, which is absolutely going to obfuscate it, right?
And it's over black line art.
Right.
It's black text over black line art.
Right. Right. So really, everything else I'm kind of positive about. And now that we're doing the activations the right way, I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious to see how it works out. The only thing I really don't like is the map, and it's like aesthetically, like purely like hang it on your wall.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with the map.
Yes.
I
I
like
think
it.
it's pretty.
Right. In terms of a functional war game map, it
Yeah.
is not good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you can ask me questions about the thing I'm working on, Hot Dry Season, another day, right? But there's been a little bit of Minority Report about the map there, right?
Right.
Because I didn't want these problems, right?
Right.
I'd rather have something that has an aesthetic, but isn't like, oh wow, look how pretty it is, but you can clearly tell stuff. And I'm not a big fan of, like I told you, I hate the GTS now ported to Compass system of like,
Uh-huh.
there's a dot in the hex that tells you the terrain. I hate that. You know?
I aesthetically I dislike it, but in terms of clarity, I find that it's usually an effective way to eliminate confusion. Yeah,
right.
because you could. Now, I will say this: on the Devil's Cauldron maps specifically, which are the maps I was playing on in February,
Right.
unless they are right next to each other, it is a bit difficult to tell the brown dot in the center from the black dot in the center. CSS does something different with those, where it's actually not just the dot, but there's the dot fill in the dot, and there's an outline of the dot. So there's ways to distinguish between two different dark colored dots.
What I don't like about that system, here's where it bugs me. Do you really need all that terrain bleed in there in the first place on your map? Which causes that? Like, you look at the CSS map and you have like 4 colors going on, right?
Right.
That's why they throw it there. All right. So that's one issue I have with it. But the second one that's simple is, it's fine if there's like 5 terrain types.
Mm-hmm.
You start to run into problems when it's like, well, the magenta is this.
Right.
Okay. So it does it. That's my thing, is like, well, wouldn't you just get the same amount of clarity from having just 5 colors? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And working with them instead of having all the, it's almost like you've got these very simple terrain designations, but then you're trying to pretty it up with all this extra, basically, topography map detail, like it's from a photo.
Yeah.
And just marking it out.
I'll have to take some pictures of the maps of one of the other things I've been looking at lately, which is the TSR edition of A Gleam of Bayonets.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Masterful in its clarity, as it is hideous as it is to look at. It is gross looking.
Right, and I give those guys, early '80s, and the '70s, I give them a pass because they were dealing with 4 color printing.
Oh yeah, but at the same time, TSR. Okay, think of the publisher, right? TSR had a cartography department, okay, with like a room in the building and a staff and a secretary, and they had like 6 different cartographers. So I'm not willing to cut them that much slack.
I'm with you, but they were spending all their money on D&D.
Oh, absolutely,
and not on an SPI Antique.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Bob's got time. Give it to him.
But I don't truly despise, I think is a good way to put it, the dot system. I think it's limited. So I was forced to deal with a situation where there were 12 terrain types, right?
Yeah.
So the dots ain't cutting it. The dots aren't going to work for that. Yeah. So you got to figure something else out. But this is like, All right. We've gone on about the map for 12 minutes, which we both really hate, which is interesting.
Or firmly dislike. All right. So next Chit pull. Did you finish that Chit?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Was it price?
It was very simple. I just activated little because it was a partial.
All right. It's price again.
All right. There's a problem. You follow what I'm saying? How do you return these things back? Right. There's an issue. So maybe there's a different... Instead of returning it to the cup, just put it in the cup. Are you hitting the return to the cup button, or are you just putting it back in the cup?
Can I just drag it into the cup? Oh, I can. Okay, hold on. That's interesting. So return to cup appears to actually not randomize it.
It's like an undo.
Yeah, kind of is, actually. All right, so remember not to use that. That's an interesting quirk of the Vassal module. All right, go with price again. And I'm thinking we are probably going to call it a day after the end of the turn.
Yes. John Longshore, you're right. And in fact, I would go on to say that if you were colorblind, there's no way you're playing this game.
I would go so far as to say that if you are colorblind, you are thoroughly fucked.
Yeah. You're just looking at a bunch of stuff. It all bleeds. Yeah, so you can't. Yeah.
I would be happy to put this on a wall, right? But man, it's not the easiest map to use.
Yeah, it has the functionality of like a map for the world of Greyhawk, right? So you're going from place to place and what, fine, all right. But this is like you need to figure out exact movement rates and stuff.
Right. Now, I will say, while you're taking that price activation, assuming you have more to do.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
I have quite a few price activations to do.
I'm going to take the totally non-controversial position that the best-looking wargame maps I have ever seen are the maps out of the great campaigns of the American Civil War series.
For their scale, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
yes.
Which are nevertheless generally quite easy to use, too, easy to read. I won't say they're the clearest maps I've ever seen, but they are extremely pretty, and usability is still fairly high.
Pull a Chit.
I'm not sure I've ever seen the map to Devil's Den, to be honest. Superior artillery. Let's see if we can do something with that. You play this Chit immediately upon it being drawn, or hold it to be played at the start of any Chit draw phase. You select any one hex containing Union artillery units, and each of those units may immediately do one of three actions. Conduct one normal movement, conduct a normal fire combat, remove a shaken or disrupted marker. Okay, I will use that now.
Okay.
So, what we are going to do, and we've managed to pick up Price 2. God damn it. Put Price back. Well, Price is going to be the last Chit. So, we are going to take Jones, and we're going to put him here.
Okay. So you're not firing, you're moving with this.
Correct.
All right. And now we have the final Chit, right?
Yep, which is Price. So just do all the rest of your activations for Price.
All right. There is one Price activation left. Let's see if I can even do it. Yes. Yes. Green, which is what I wanted. Green is going to do a maneuver. All right, so everybody's got to come over the edge. 5, 5. Oh, green's tiny.
I do have a bit of an issue with, maybe we're just getting used to this. There's I think some nomenclature issues with the way that what the Chits are called.
Yeah, this is a player aid issue, because I looked at all the player aids, and everything we're seeing here are just crimped out things from the player aids.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of nomenclature about key Chit, this types of Chits that aren't really spelled out on the player aids, and you kind of have to constantly read through the rules.
Right.
So it's kind of like a player aid organization thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a minor ding.
Yeah.
My biggest ding is like we didn't know how to use the Chit cup in the vassal module properly. One, so we screwed some things up, and two, we did activations unit activations completely freaking wrong.
At least we caught that on turn 2 instead of turn 16.
Correct. And this isn't that long. It's so I'm gonna say, so we're done, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this is turn 3 begin, really. And I will save this in Thunder in the Ozarks. Save. And yeah, I'm actually optimistic. I think if we do the Chits right, you're going to see more movement and firing. It was basically felt like oh, we can't do anything, and that happens when you get a partial. A partial.
And it's a Chit pull game, so I mean the point is to create unpredictability.
Right.
So Jordan asked actually if what is our opinion of the Vassal die roller. I think the Vassal die roller is not a great randomizer. I've consistently seen it be extremely streaky, either high or low. And I know it's certainly not impossible for that to happen randomly, but having taken at least one statistics course in my time. But I don't feel like it gives good random results. That said, I don't believe it has been particularly egregious in this particular session.
So Jordan, I'm going to completely and utterly disagree with Gary here, and say that that's a perception thing. Having played a lot of Vassal, it just depends. It's just as random as like any other flipping dice, and it's just you pay attention to the ones that really screw you over, or the ones where the other guy really does it. It's just a die to me. Anyway, it's just a die randomizer.
Now, as a person who's rolled a lot of physical dice in his time and had entire 6-hour sessions in which I consistently rolled garbage the entire time, I will totally agree with that. It is a perception thing. So without actually taking the algorithm apart and looking at it, it is actually hard to say. There are good random number generators because they're never really random, right? It's pseudo random number generation because computers cannot generate a truly random number,
right?
And some algorithms are better at it than others.
But if you're talking about D6s, you're talking about 11.6. It's saying, so hey, give me a number, and you've got an 11% chance. It isn't launching, a spacecraft to Mars,
right?
It's the simplest randomizer you could use. That's why I'm like, I trust it. I think I don't see how it could be possibly different than me rolling a d6 in any practical sense.
I don't feel good about it, but I am not sufficiently uncomfortable with it now, today. Also, bearing in mind having played a lot more Vassal in the last month than I was at one point in the past. If you watched my actually Battle for Normandy videos, I think I had thrown up my hands and said, screw this, I'm rolling physical dice. But I was solitarying that, so that's okay, right?
Right. That's just you getting frustrated. To me, and that's the more, in my opinion, than like the algorithms, that's the realistic reaction. You got frustrated like any board gamer or role player, right? And you got frustrated with the set of dice you were using. Right? And you switched them out. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But that's that's just an emotional reaction, to the luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's being superstitious. And you could do that, like you said, because you're playing solo. So you're like, screw this, I'm just gonna roll dice, right? Okay, yeah, great. It's almost like I turn off the side of my brain that would actually, because if we were playing physically, I would get frustrated with dice, and I have, right?
Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Right. But I turn off that part of my brain when I play Vassal because I know it's a random number generator at 16 points. What is it? 16.66 for D6s.
Yep.
And it's just doing 10% for D10s.
Yep.
And that right. It's whatevs.
Yeah. I've seen it happen. Jordan's pointing out his situation with Brandywine, where he rolled 3 ones in a row. I've rolled 5 or 6 ones in a row. I did roll 5 or 6 nines actually in a row, firing artillery in GTS. And I don't know how it works in CSS, but in GTS, if you roll a 9, you've lost contact with the battery. So you have to then take another activation later on and reestablish contact with the battery before you can even use that battery again.
I'm playing Blue Tweezers like Tinian, right? He used 2 assets in a row, rolled a 9. If you roll another game Civil War, it shows you how average they are. Look how many times you roll 7s.
Yeah.
And get doubles off the 7s, right? It's just like, as much as you hate it, like Jordan, like you say, it's frustrating. Yeah, it's as frustrating as like you were like, I'm not using these dice anymore, they're in exile.
Oh yes.
It's the same response as a gambler, as a gambler who switches and says, "I'm never playing that table for craps anymore. I'm only playing the one on the other side of the casino."
Yeah,
right?
See, that's the thing. If I'm rolling physical dice, I can order them hung from the nearest tree,
right,
or melted down with a small kitchen blowtorch.
But it's all about. But honestly, they're no different. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. You roll the dice.
It's like I said, I don't feel great about it, but I don't feel great about real dice either.
Right. They're dice. Right. And that's the key to me is like have different mechanisms or have mechanisms where if you're using dice, sometimes it's very easy to see, hey, this is a 20% chance. If you mix your mechanics like this, the dice don't bug me so much because you've got the Chit activation system happening.
Mm-hmm.
It bugs me in Berg because I'm doing, like we were talking about the Ancient Worlds game, because I'm doing nothing but rolling on actuary tables. Mix it up, right? Give me different ways of mathematically getting at the same thing, right? Than having me just rolling some dice on flipping tables.
I can see the frustration there. That said, as we just had discussed offline, I do like that series.
Yeah. God bless. Yeah, I just got. It was literally like I'm getting tired of doing these die rolls. Yeah. Right. So, all right. We're done. We'll be back next Sunday with this, hopefully.
Next Sunday with this, and we'll talk afterwards about the coming week's schedule. If you are interested in having a look at Patrick's game, A Hot Dry Season, which is now available for pre-order from Legion War Games, stay tuned. We're going to do some video on that this week or next week, but we'll discuss the finer details of that in the coming things.
We may even throw you a pre-order link.
Maybe. Also, if you are not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe and click the little bell icon to get the notifications, and that way you'll get a card in your YouTube subscriptions thing that says there's an upcoming stream. Not really doing a huge amount to promote these, other than what Patrick is posting on Twitter and in the Discord channel. So, Patrick, do you have anything else?
Support Gary on Patreon.
That would be cool.
Pre-order my game.
By the way, thank you, Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon, thank you very much.
So, let me throw that out if he's still around. So, everybody have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you live in a couple days.